All right.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a video that I hope will make a difference in your life, and even more important than that, make a difference in many people's lives. We have Nicole Rosenberger with us today. She is head of a nonprofit. We'll get into the details of that for shortly. But what I'm going to do here is throw up some numbers, share my screen, and put these up here for Nicole to work with. And Nicole, I know that you do a lot in foster care. The number 424,000. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Sure. There are approximately 424,000 youth in foster care in the United States. That is a very significant number.
Okay, and seeing these numbers is just very powerful, and I'm going to have to revert to Plan B and say that it just okay, that's supposed to say per year. I can get that out there. Tell me about the number 23,000.
There will be approximately 23,000 youth who will age out of foster care. And what that means is that these are youth who are, they're going to be exiting the foster care system. They're too old to stay in care. That varies depending on each state. Some states it's age 18, some it's 21. But regardless, they will be aging out of foster care without having established a permanent family or have been able to be reunified with their biological family.
So basically, there's a bunch of them that are homeless immediately.
Yep, actually goes to the next number is 20% will be immediately homeless. The day that they age out of care, they will have no place to go. And then that number of homelessness actually drastically increases over the next 2 years. But immediately upon exit of care, 20% will be homeless.
Wow, and that's and less than 3% go to college.
Yeah, less than 3% will ever at any time in their life attend a college. And that number really it has a very strong capacity to be changed because youth in foster care actually receive free college tuition. So that number is just because there is no one to guide them and direct them, like how to fill out an college application or what all they need to do that, to navigate the systems. So that number really certainly could be changed.
So mentors and just people that care would make a big difference there. Here's another statistic that surprised me, and well, it didn't surprise me as much as I wish we could immediately fix it.
Yep, 7 out of 10 young women will be pregnant before they turn 21. And I mean, we can look at that from a psychological perspective of if you age out of foster care and you don't have, everybody has an innate desire to belong to something, to somebody, somewhere. And if they have not established that during their time in foster care, then it's often young women that are looking for that connection, and they often find that, but there a whole lot more goes into having a baby than simply being connected to someone else. So yes, 7 out of 10 young ladies will be pregnant before the age of 21.
So I've been through fatherhood. I only had one daughter, but I can imagine. I know young ladies who have been single moms, and it's tough. And it's tough to find a good job that's going to pay you what you need to survive, and also have enough flexibility to take care of your baby. And so now tell me about Highland Services and what you're doing there that will be a part of the solution.
Highland Child and Community Services is a nonprofit organization that was established in 2014. From 2014 till now, we have done work in Haiti and have done various things. But over the last 3.5 years, we have worked closely with the state of Pennsylvania to develop a program for youth who will be aging out of foster care. And our first set of individuals would be young ladies, actually. So our first home would be young ladies who are aging out of the foster care system. And that's a division of Highland Child and Community Services called Highland Homes.
Uh-huh. I see you have a cat visiting you on camera there. So
Can you see down that far? Because I can't
just
see it.
the very tips of the ears were about that high on the screen. So not a problem. We heard the meow, and that's lovable. You know, our dog, our cat, you pretty much stay off camera, but not 100%. So there's your baby.
She's yelling at me because I'm trying to put her down. And she's like, no, I'm staying right here. Yep.
Okay. So anyway, that's part of the lovability of it all. Now I talked about you know, doing some things with the young ladies that would you know, possibly make a difference. Classes, and you have a board of directors, so it's ultimately up to the board of directors. But in lieu of college, something that could help them short term, very quickly: ethical salesmanship, ethical leadership, entrepreneurship, and guiding them into some things that are more easy to implement than college. And you know, so but I'd like to have a talk with you and your board about that at some time. And so your board of directors, I understand that you have 6 on your board right now. And we talked about what skills, what would be on your wish list for adding to your board?
Well, we would like to find an attorney, which we may have that identified. We may have an attorney identified to come on board. That doesn't mean that we could only have one, though. But we would like to have an attorney on the board. We would like to have a skilled business leader on the board. We would love to have someone who has experience in real estate acquisition and managing a real estate profile.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's the beginnings of the wish list. And I actually created a wish list document for another nonprofit. So maybe we need to get some of these things into writing. And you know, once the list starts to fill in, then you know, we can change the order and you know, assign some priorities. And I know some people. I know a gentleman, saw him yesterday, who was COO of a fairly large corporation. So family owned, and he was passed by in the line of succession. So he started his own company. So you know, we'll see about those things. And you can tell by my white hair that it's probably not my first rodeo. And so I've been out there and as a recruiter of volunteers, and at times that has included board members. So we'll do what we can in addition to making this video. So now you've also identified a property that you would like to that you say would be almost, or it is a perfect fit for your short-term plans and would carry on into the future. So I'm going to share my screen again. Go ahead and start talking about the property. And what I'm going to show here is the website, and then I'm going to scroll down. And this is a one of 2 buildings on the property, or one of 15.
It's one of 2. Well, 2 residential buildings. There's actually a barn there too. And if you don't mind, I could segue this little cat on my lap here to go talking about the property. Because part of the program, which has been approved by the state, is animal assisted therapy, which is one of the things that makes the property ideal. We're looking at 1 residential building on approximately 15 acres. There is a barn there where we currently have 2 horses and some roosters. And then there is another home. If we're looking at that photo, that home would be directly to the right of the home that we're looking at. And that is where myself and another staff member, there's an apartment that's attached to the second home. So myself and my family would reside in the home that you don't see in the photo. We would reside in that home, and as well as another staff member in the apartment. And then the building that we were looking at would be the actual SIL, which is the acronym for Supervised Independent Living. And that's the state approved program that we have. So the girls would live there. We would live right next door, which then brings me to what makes our program very unique. There are very, very few SILs in the state of Pennsylvania to begin with. There are none that have the component of connection, animal therapy, or animal assisted therapy, that we would have. Most SILs are ran where the provider has purchased an apartment building, and the youth stay in the apartment building and they pretty much live life on their own. They're checked in on, once a month or every other week. They do set up like a service plan for them, but basically they're on their own. And we believe that drop down after youth exit foster care is largely in part because they don't have that strong, secure connection. They haven't established roots. They haven't created an environment where they really feel like they're loved and cherished and belong. So that is our goal, is actually to create sort of an extended family where these youth will feel like they're family.
Okay, so you have now your property acquisition. Then you're fairly what we've talked about is you're fairly flexible in how you acquire it, short term versus long term. But you want to make sure that nothing interferes with the operations and what you need to do with the young ladies needs to be off limits for interference from outside, correct?
Correct. We would be willing to entertain a bridge loan, a sponsorship. We actually have developed a sponsorship program. So we'd be willing to entertain a sponsorship, a bridge loan, or if somebody purchased the property and would be willing to rent to us, that is also something that we would be willing to discuss. But as you said, is we have some very, very strict guidelines that we have to follow from the state. So if we were to do a rental option, whether it's a straight out rent or rent to own, we would definitely need to have that boundary set up where we would be able to run the program as we needed and wanted to run it.
Right. And I was previously licensed in real estate in California, and had some good tutoring in using my imagination, but staying within the guidelines. And so be glad to help anywhere I can there. You have shared your budget with me, so that's your nonprofit, your 501c3 is set up. You have your bylaws, you have a board of 6 so far, and looking to grow. And then you have some specific areas that you want to grow in. The bylaws that we talked about, you said you're going to be looking at those to update those, but that's usually a minor thing. The fact that you have them speaks well of you. So anyway, what's the next step that somebody should do? They should probably just get in touch with you, I would imagine.
Yep, absolutely. Feel free to reach out either through, you can go to the website, which is www.highlandservices.org. That's the website.
Okay.
And on there, you would find a phone number, email addresses. My phone number is 717-645-8269. You can reach out any way that you'd like to. I'd be more than happy to respond to email or phone calls. I do have 7 special needs children, so it is not always that I can pick up on the first time, but I will happily return a phone call if I miss it. And we can discuss any considerations that you have. Once we are up and running, we will also be opening our facility to volunteers, obviously with all the right clearances and things
Correct.
of that nature. Mhm.
Correct. Okay, great. Nicole, thanks for sharing with me. And we'll put this out there where you can point people to it. I'll point people to it, and we'll see what we can do to help those young ladies and future young ladies too. Okay.
Fantastic.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Thanks
Yep.
a lot. Bye-bye.